Welcome. So what I like to do is show you how to solve and graph this compound inequality. So what I have is 1 is less than m plus 5 is less than 11. Now, this is a compound inequality with the and that we're going to be talking about. So what we're looking at is we're really looking at two different inequalities. We want to solve and graph 1 less than m plus 5, and we want to be able to evaluate for m plus 5 when it's less than 11. So when dealing with the compound inequality, that means you can see the two inequalities are kind of combined as one. You can solve this together, which I'll show you in a second. But what I like to first do is just kind of understand that these are two inequalities together with the and symbol. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solve and graph these separately and then combine them into one graph. And then I'll show you how to do it just as one. So the first thing, what I like to do with my students is I just like to show them both inequalities. So the first inequality is 1 less than m plus 5, and then m plus 5 is less than 11. So what I simply did is, covered up one side, wrote that inequality, and then I covered the other side and wrote that inequality. Now I'm going to solve and graph them separately and then bring them together. So to isolate our variable, I subtract by 5, and I say negative 4 is less than m, subtract 5, and I have m is less than 6. So now what I'm going to do is graph each one of these. So let's graph them on the same number line. So I'll have, that will be 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Okay, so let's graph this one first. It says m is greater than negative 4, or negative 4 is less than m. So first of all, I look at my inequality sign, and since it's less than, not less than or equal to, I'm going to have an open circle. Then it says all values that are greater than negative 4. So when we look at our number line, we say, where are the numbers that are going to be greater than negative 4? Well, that's going to be all values going in the positive direction. Now, let's go and look at my next inequality. It says m is less than 6. So since it's less than and not less than or equal to 6, I'm going to make a nice open circle at 6, meaning my value is not a part of my inequality, or my inequality is not true when m equals 6. It's only when m is less than 6. So I look at my number line and say, where are all the values that are less than 6? Well, that's going to be all values that are going in the negative direction. Now, on this compound inequality, this is a and compound inequality. What we're doing is we want to look at when is this inequality true for this inequality and for this inequality. So it has to be true for both inequalities. And what we notice is only between the values of negative 4 and 6, not including negative 4 and 6, is our inequality true. So that's going to be where my inequality is going to be shaded in. And I can just kind of eliminate this top inequality part that I used to help me graph this. So that's going to be my final answer. And I want to show you one more quick way to go and solve this without competing. See, what you guys notice is when I did this separately, each time I subtracted 5 for both inequality. And a lot of times that's, you could say that's kind of just redundant, right? Well, what I could do is rather than just subtracting 5 for each inequality, I can now subtract 5 from the middle. So if I have a compound inequality, I can now isolate my middle term m by subtracting 5 to both sides. Therefore, it leaves me with negative 4, which is less than m, which is less than 6. So again, I'll say that one more time so you can see which values are going to be true for m. M is greater than negative 4, but less than 6. So what numbers are greater than negative 4, but less than 6? Well, it's only going to be the numbers that I've currently graphed in beside here. And you can always test it by picking a test point. Let's say we pick 0. Is negative 4 less than 0? And is 0 less than 6? And since it's true, I would shade between my 2 points. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you solve and graph a compound inequality. Thanks.